Very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Shine Dome. It's such a joy to welcome you here this morning, and I'm absolutely delighted to see so many familiar faces around the room. My name is Anna Maria Arabia. I'm the Chief Executive here at the Australian Academy of Science. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people. I acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging. And I also acknowledge and warmly welcome all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us this morning. I'd like to take a moment to recognise and thank Academy Fellow, the indefatigable Professor Tom Calma, for the extraordinary role he has played in the Voice referendum and the many years of work leading to it. As you know, Tom is an Aboriginal elder from the Canberra tribal group. His research in Indigenous health and his advocacy has brought much rigour and evidence to national deliberations. In true Tom style, yesterday at the prize ceremony in the Great Hall, he shared with me his unrelenting focus to reconciliation and his desire to forge new ways forward. I know he has worked closely with many Indigenous elders and experts, and we owe them all a debt of gratitude for their leadership and commitment to closing the gap and to nurturing a meaningful dialogue between all Australians. To Tom and others, you have our deepest admiration and respect. I'd also like to offer a very, very warm welcome to the Honourable Ed Husic, Minister for Industry and Science, Mr David Smith, Member for Bean, Senator Maria Kovacic, Senator for New South Wales, and Mr Netta Mascarenhas, Member for Swan, and to any other members and senators who have joined us this morning. Also, a very warm welcome to Chief Scientist of Australia, Dr Cathy Foley, Chief Defence Scientist, Professor Tanya Munro, CEO of CSIRO, Professor Doug Hilton, CSIRO Chief Scientist, Professor Bronwyn Fox, National Health and Medical Research Council CEO, Professor Steve Wesling, Secretary of the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, Megan Quinn, Deputy Secretaries from across the Department of Industry, Science and Resources, Joe White, the Director of Questacon, Presidents and CEOs of Australia's Learned Academies, CEO of ACOLA, the Australian Council of Learned Academies, Fellows of the Australian Academy of Science, and of course Fellows of all of the Academies of Australia, representatives from peak bodies and industry bodies, to Katrina Ruck, Dr Katrina Ruck, member of our Reconciliation Action Plan Working Group, a very warm welcome to you. Representatives from Science and Maths Teachers Associations, thank you for all you do. Early and mid-career researchers, staff of the Academy, staff of ministers, could I especially welcome Associate Professor Alan Broad for all the work you do behind the scenes, friends and colleagues from across the research and innovation enterprise. A very warm welcome to you all here in the room, and of course a very warm welcome to our online guests who are watching this morning. I know the prize recipients, their families and friends are very eager to have a sneak peek into some of these wonderful celebrations of our scientists, so very warm welcome to our online guests. It's lovely to be here to celebrate the 2023 recipients of the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. Who said scientists don't know how to party? Up late in the Great Hall, early in the Shine Dome, little sleep, lots of glamour, and at least 1 million reasons to celebrate science and scientists. Australian scientists are leading so many important conversations across our communities, and it's a privilege to be able to recognise their contributions here in the Shine Dome this morning. I'd like to offer my heartfelt thanks to Industry and Science Minister, the Honourable Ed Husic, for joining us this morning, and the Department of Industry, Science and Resources for their hard work in bringing together a wonderful event yesterday evening and for their support of this breakfast event. Before I invite the Academy President to provide his opening remarks, please do turn your phones off to silent if you haven't done so already. I do encourage you to take photos and celebrate our award winners on social media. The hashtag is #PMPrizesAtBreakfast. And now, please join me in welcoming to the podium a person who inspires me daily, internationally recognised expert in semiconductors and nanotechnology, the President of the Australian Academy of Science, Professor Jagadish.
Thank you, Anna Maria. I also pay my respects to the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet, Nanwal and Nambri people, and I particularly pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. And I also acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, those are participating in this event this morning. Welcome to the Australian Academy of Science. Along with many other fellows of the Academy, we are pleased to host you here today. A very warm welcome this morning to all the recipients of the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. Our warmest congratulations to you on this outstanding recognition and our deepest gratitude for the work you do every day to advance science in Australia. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate with you. Whilst all of the Prime Minister's Prize recipients are absolutely exceptional, I would like to applaud the recipient of the Prime Minister's Prize for Science, Academy Fellow, Professor Michelle Simmons. We are thrilled that you have been awarded the nation's most prestigious prize for your contribution, Michelle. As a fellow physicist, I, like many, have been watching you take steps towards building an atomic electronics industry and atom by atom building the first quantum computer. We wish you good luck in your endeavor because Australia needs that. It's inspiring and exciting, and I watched you growing from strength to strength for the last 25 plus years. And also last night, Vanessa said, I don't know how she achieves what she's achieved, and she's also been a mother of 3 children. That's a phenomenal what you've achieved, and we wish you continued success in what you're doing. What you're doing is very important for the future of electronics and also future of quantum computing. I also would like to welcome our parliamentary representatives and of course Minister Husick and our many distinguished guests from the research and innovation sector, including our Chief Scientist and Defense Chief Scientist and Department Secretary and many dignitaries, those are in this room today. Thank you all for joining us this morning to celebrate the recipients of this year's Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. We'll hear from the Minister Husick shortly, but before we do, I'd like to take this opportunity to share a few words. There are many things I love about the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science. One is seeing the great and many achievements of the brilliant scientists, innovators, and teachers in our country. The quality, breadth, and depth of the research we undertake never ceases to amaze me. The impact research has on every individual is so pervasive and ubiquitous that sometimes it is hard to describe. You know, there are some 13 different patent portfolios representing materials components that ended up being assembled into the iPhone, for example. Not one of those discoveries was ever intended to deliver us our portable banking system, navigation system, camera, and communications device. So its impacts are life-changing. So consider too, the research impact of the discovery of a vaccine for cervical cancer. Australia is on track to be the first nation to eliminate the cancer by 2035. Imagine that, no woman or girl in Australia with cervical cancer in 12 years' time. That's a phenomenal achievement. And of course, all Australians should be proud of that achievement. And of course, we know that as economics worldwide radically reconfigure to achieve net zero and to drive economic growth, they will be relying on research and development to deliver solutions that mean our economy is powered by industries that are circular, not consumptive, putting us on a sustainable footing. The other thing I love about the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science is recognition of the teachers who are the inspiration, supporters, and early role models for our scientists and innovators. And to the school communities, those who support them. Teachers change lives. They do more than deliver education. I have personally experienced the transformative role of education in my own life. I grew up in India without the sort of educational resources that I am pleased I could offer my daughter. When I started my school was too far from my home village where I come from. It was my high school maths teacher who invited me into his home to live with him for 3 years to be able to allow me to be able to complete my high school. Without his support, today I will be plowing the fields in India like my cousins in India today. So his impact he has made on my life has been truly transformational. And in fact, earlier this month, he passed away. And so I was in STS forum in Kyoto, and then I canceled all my commitments to go to Kuala Lumpur or so. And then I managed to fly to India, be with my second family, because he has been like my second father, and participate on the funeral. And impact he has made is so much, his funeral has been attended by 2,000 people. That really tells you the impact he has made during his 40-year career. So that's one example of a teacher, what transformative impact they can make. And I really want you to join me in thanking all the teachers, those who are here today, and also all the teachers, those who are really doing hard work in all the schools, remote parts of the world, in the country. And please join me in thanking all the teachers for what they did. The third thing I love about the Prime Minister's Prizes for Science is hearing from our innovators. Emerging industry leaders and those who are more seasoned in this field, not only growing new jobs and industries that stimulate our economy, but radically changing the way we live. Funnel web spider have never looked so good when they are being used to protect crops or treat vascular disease. And whether it is renewables and low emissions technologies, medical devices, or better transport systems, there is no better demonstration of the need to continue to stimulate research, and because we know that applications of that research deliver a better future for all. Ladies and gentlemen, our treasurer, Jim Chalmers, has often referred to the poly crisis of our times and the opportunity and perhaps the responsibility we have to respond meaningfully and more sustainably to these multiple and overlapping challenges, and science and R&D will play an important role. He refers to the need for an orderly energy and climate transition, for a more resilient and adaptable economy in the face of local and global challenges, and to put equality and equal opportunity at the center of how we respond. When we disenfranchise communities, we all suffer. As a science sector, this challenges us to think about how we structure our knowledge system and how we can be most inclusive in our practices. Systems that draw on multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary knowledge will stand us in good stead. Systems capable of embracing indigenous knowledge will help us respond to national challenges. We have some way to go to adopt our knowledge systems, but I'm optimistic we can collectively rise to the multiple challenges around us. I'll conclude my remarks here. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Minister for Industry, Science and Resources, the Honorable Head Husik.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to start by acknowledging we're on the land of the Ngunnawal and pay respects to elders past and present, and also, if I may, extend my respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who are here with us today. Thank you very much for the welcome, Jagadish, and to Anna Maria in particular. I want to thank you all for what you've done in terms of putting on, as always, the breakfast, and I just want to extend my personal gratitude to the Academy as well. Being in this role and being able to from time to time get your advice on the way in which we should be approaching things in the portfolio arena with a longer term view about its application means a lot to me personally. So I'm very grateful for that, and it is terrific. Well, I know once I start on this path of acknowledging people, I'll acknowledge every single person in the room, but I might just say I'm very heartened to see you all, but I'm particularly heartened to see parliamentary colleagues in David, Zanita and Maria that are here. And there was a great attendance last night of parliamentarians, and having that engagement is really, really important. And on that note, if I can just extend my gratitude too to the department, because there are a lot of people in the department who are represented here by Secretary Quinn that put in a huge effort to make sure that everything works well. And I think it is an important platform to be able to celebrate science in this country, and I'm very grateful for the department's efforts, because the prizes themselves have become a premier event on the science calendar, and the breakfast is a traditional follow-up where we can reflect on those achievements, because our achievements in science have been an outsized proportion to our population size. I've been wanting to keep emphasising that, and as I've said to people, to be able to emphasise too the value of our know-how. If you can indulge me just for a bit, the sort of first part, or the first year in this role, I've been focused on effectively in two broad streams. What I would describe sort of foundational moves and then application. The foundational side has been things like, for example, the review of the national science and research priorities, and I want to thank the Chief Scientist for leading that review that will then embed into a national science statement and give us a sense longer term about what we need to do with respect to investment in science. We've also looked at, as I indicated last night, we need to be able to call up talents from all corners for what we need to do as a nation. We need people to feel that they've all got a role to play. Those that are capable that can step up should not be held back by artificial barriers, frankly, and finding a way that all people, particularly women and people from CALD backgrounds, First Nations backgrounds, to be involved in the effort that we have. If people want to be put to work, then we should be able to do just that. And the other element and the other focus that I've had is to ensure and that we recognise, as I reflected last night, the huge, the building up of First Nations knowledge. We need to respect and apply that more. So there's been that, and on the other side, applying that in some fairly big ways. So either the National Quantum Strategy, looking at the robotics strategy and some of the other things that we're doing, so that we're applying this, and as I keep saying, to do it for national, not just economic, but for social well-being as well. So that, to give you a sense in broad terms where we're headed, is really important. So I'm grateful to all of you who've, in one way or other, been able to influence or give me advice and guidance on the way. And not the least of which, I think the big thing we need to do is to apply these in national challenge. From my point of view, a lot of the focus of my portfolio work, we have this challenge to get to net zero, and we just don't have the time. You know, I just constantly hear the clock ticking in my mind, and so a lot of the work that we're doing in this space, be it re-gearing some of our programs, Jagadish, when you're reflecting on the circular side of the economy and sustainability, for example, making changes to the way that CRCP works to really get a focus on people who can advance propositions around the circular economy. In the NRF, there's a reason why Martine Wilder out of the Clean Energy Finance Corporation is there, so we can bring together the work that Australian thinkers are doing to apply that in a way to be able to get to 82% of our energy generated through renewable sources. We've just got to reduce emissions. This is the biggest legacy we can leave for the people that follow us. It's not a mechanistic agenda. This is one that I think has to leave a lasting mark on our country and globally. And the thing is that you all, I don't need to say this to you all because a lot of you live and breathe it. This is something that is fundamental to what many of you are doing. And on that thing about legacy, the thing that struck me about last night too, is that we weren't just celebrating brilliant scientists and science educators, but also the fact that they want to support the development of leaders and mentors in the next generation as well. We reflected broader science strength in terms of the winners that were there last night, and showing that we're world leaders in different areas. For example, Jagadish reflected on quantum technologies. That they will solve a wide range of problems, particularly in terms of drug design and medicines, the optimisation of transport, development of new industrial materials, and also I think will help us in the transition to net zero. So it was fitting that the Prime Minister's Prize for Science went to Professor Michelle Simmons for all her work, leading the charge here in this country to make sure Australian ideas can be commercialised and scaled right here in our nation. Backing scientific innovation, the heart of developing new technologies, outstanding innovators thinking in different ways. Now, Jagadish, you said funnel web spiders never look so good. A lot of us, the back, kind of reacted to that comment, because I hate spiders. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that word. And when I was listening to Professor King, and I watched those videos, by the way, were tremendous last night to give an insight into people. And I kept looking at the work on Professor King going, I hope he didn't bring samples. I hope he didn't bring samples. And I checked, when I shook his hand, I just checked his cuff. I just made sure. But it is something to be able to turn what makes us recoil to look at that and think, well, no, this, if applied right, can make a lasting benefit to people. And you know, the way in which spider venom can be used to protect the brain, in particular after stroke, limit the risk of cardiovascular disease, help maintain the integrity of donor hearts, this is phenomenal. And thank you very much for that work. What also struck me about last night's winners, how they're all dedicated to helping us achieve, as I said, a cleaner, healthier, more vibrant future for the rest that follow, whether it's studying the ways in which microbes can help combat climate change, like Professor Chris Greening, reducing energy consumption, Professor Uarui Larry Liu, improving people's lives with arthritis, Associate Professor Lara Herrera, Science in Action. Now, Larry, I'm just going to say this here. Larry last night, so excited about his ward, he left it on the lectern, and I was going to say, but Dr. Perrotta stopped me from saying this, so there's an IOU. I want to say, Larry, come back to the stage, or this is going into eBay. But it's because for all of you, I was watching you all as you were receiving the prizes, but importantly, watching the audience as well, and the way that they all will you on, and there is a collective pride in what you're all doing, and it is that's why I think more than anything else, the prizes mean so much. And the other thing I wanted to finally reflect on, Jagadish, I think all of us were moved by that story. It goes to the heart too, and I think a lot of us who are from migrant backgrounds know, and particularly for parents who didn't have necessarily the resources but always pushed their children, I think that your story spoke deeply to that, and I've heard stories in times past where families, and in fact villages, would rally together to make sure that at least one child in that village went off to do something that no one else in that village had, and that is to get a tertiary education. And I think your story encapsulated that power, that transformative power of education, but also, again, the way it's valued by people who may not have that themselves. Last night I thought one of the highlights is the way in which the warmth of the crowd that was extended to teachers that were there. I was particularly pleased that we celebrated the highly commended teachers, so Mr. Matthew Dodds and Dr. Gabriel OSullivan. I thought it was beautiful, and also to be able then to acknowledge Ms. Donna Buckley and Ms. Judith Strickland, and I'm pleased to be with you all to continue that celebration of science this morning. But as I said, and I think I encapsulated what I've tried to do is communicate what a lot of people feel, which is behind every great scientist has been a teacher who has shaped their path. And so thank you very much for what you do. I know you don't do this because for moments like last night, but it is, I think, very important reflection on what you do for the nation. So thank you very much. Thank you for all of you for the work that you're doing in building a better nation. All power to you and onwards. Thank you. I've got work to do.
You've got work to do now with Jagadish. Come on over. Thank you so much, Minister. Please do stay us, and I invite Jagadish to join us on the stage. But Minister, thank you for your support both in words and in deed. You have taken the portfolio by the horns, really, and embraced it and set, as you said, the foundations for so much work for the future, and made some very, very critical steps for us. So thank you very much. So now it's my great honour, and our great honour indeed, to present the certificates to the 2023 Prime Minister's Prizes for Science recipients. So firstly, the 2023 recipient of the Prime Minister's Prize for Science, Fellow of the Australian Academy of Science, Professor Michelle Simmons from the University of New South Wales.
Congratulations, Michelle. You should be in the middle. You should be in the middle.
And
Trust me, it's more well.
Tell us, you want us to be there?
say what you
Well oiled.
Congratulations, Michelle. The next prize is the Prime Minister's Prize for Innovation, and this year the prize was awarded to Professor Glen from the University of Queensland. Walk the stage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No more. You know, Minister, a previous PM's Prize winner, Professor Jenny Graves, did bring her lizards into the Shine Dome the morning after the prizes. The next prize is a Malcolm McIntosh Prize for Physical Scientist of the Year. Please welcome the 2023 recipient, Professor Uriri Larry Liu from the Australian National University. The recipient of the 2023 Frank Fenner Prize for Life Scientist of the Year. The award has gone to Professor Chris Greening from Monash University. The next prize is a prize for new innovators. This year, the recipient is Associate Professor Lara Herrera from Griffith University. We now move on to the Prime Minister's Prizes for Excellence in Science Teaching. The 2023 recipient for Excellence in Science Teaching in Primary Schools is Judith Strickland from Kelkis State School in Bundaberg in Queensland. The Prime Minister's Prize for Excellence in Science Teaching in Secondary Schools goes to Donna Buckley from John Curtin College of the Arts in Fremantle in Western Australia. We're now delighted to present certificates to the highly commended teachers. In the category for science teaching in primary schools, congratulations to Dr. Gabriel OSullivan from Arden Anglican School in Sydney. And in the category of science teaching in secondary schools, congratulations to Matthew Dodds from Farrer Memorial Agricultural High School in Tamworth. Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Jagadish, and congratulations once again to all the recipients. Thank you. Some time ago, in early 2020, this beautiful Shine Dome was quite severely impacted by a hailstorm, and it now has a new copper covering, and there are 1,888 custom-made tiles above us. We took that opportunity to allow individuals to dedicate every one of those tiles to scientists and people they admire in Australia, and many have taken that opportunity. That's been extended to the teachers of scientists across our nation, and it has been so heartwarming to read the dedications of individuals who have dedicated a copper tile on the Shine Dome to their teachers and to scientists across Australia. I feel like we are cloaked in the brilliance of our nation and in the hope for our future. So thank you to all those who have donated to do that. It's a lovely recognition, and you're able to visit and read those dedications on our website. That now brings us to the end of the formalities. Coffee is not far away. We invite all of the recipients, if you could, to please meet us in the main foyer for a group photo. Thank you once again, everybody, for being here this morning. We hope you enjoy breakfast in the Jaeger room and enjoy the festivities of science this week. Thank you.